Hello, welcome. Today we will talk about sustainability, ethical and social responsibility dimensions as part of our business ethics topics. And this relates to how we implement business ethics in a global economy. We will use some visuals to demonstrate some of the important concepts and provide a review of sustainability issues in this lecture. Besides the tsunami and the earthquake, which caused thousands of people to lose their lives in Japan during 2011, we also have another example, and that is the Chernobyl disaster. So this occurred in 1986 in Ukraine, and at that time the radioactive material dropped in the nuclear power plant, and the leaders and their employees kept it a secret because they wanted to experiment with a new way of doing things. So they took a little bit too much risk, which unfortunately caused this accident. The disaster harmed the environment, killed and injured thousands of people, and even today, many people cannot live in the Chernobyl plant. The India Bhopal disaster is another one which took place during 1984 in Bhopal, India. Safety devices were not adequate and the gas spilled through the plant vents. The disaster killed and injured thousands of people again, and global leaders should be responsible for ensuring that all of the subsidiaries of their organizations and their operations have high safety standards. They should not take too much risk. So every operation should be sustainable, should be efficient, but obviously there's no risk that is worth taking when people's lives are on the line. One must be very, very careful and very cautious in every country, every nation. Every life is a life worth saving. Therefore, doesn't matter whether you're dealing in a country that has strict regulations or a country that does not have too many regulations. You need to be socially responsible and make decisions that go above and beyond the laws to save lives and to be safe and responsible for everything that happens in your operations. Regardless of where we operate, we need to be effective leaders. The global companies in the 21st century environment demand global leaders, those who have the capabilities to work adequately throughout the world in a responsible and sustainable manner. Due to the changes in business practices, 21st century leaders should have significantly more abilities and expertise from prior years. We need to learn from best practices of the past and the worst practices, and obviously make our operations better and better to reduce the negative footprint and also to increase the safety standards to protect the lives of our employees and those consumers who are living in the environment. Global leaders should be able to change themselves according to the environment without varying their values and morality levels or standards. More companies are globalizing nowadays. Therefore, the need for global leaders is rapidly increasing. Hopefully, you think about the safety of everybody and act as a global leader, regardless of where you work or operate. If you need to initiate change as a global leader, some guidelines that help in this area include the following. Understand the local culture and the cultural attitudes toward the change. Clarify cultural, national, and international laws that are applicable to the employment practices in the organization. Measure current organizational practices, and obviously plan by doing research to make them more efficient and better in conjunction with the views of all those who are involved and other stakeholders outside of the organization. Develop policies and implement procedures that are appropriate to the organizational values. Elicit support from senior management and other stakeholders that are impacted by your decision or will be impacted by your decision. Disseminate organizational policies and communicate expectations to all managers and employees. Educate and train all managers and employees about the need and necessity of the new changes for sustainability and socially responsible operations. Prepare and develop their new skills so they do not resist the change. Let them know what the benefits of the change will be to make your organizations more sustainable and so your company can be seen as a socially responsible organization. Consistently monitor and evaluate the program and enforce relevant policies. And finally, improve the program, the policies, and procedures with regards to the new practices. In other words, practice the continuous improvement cycle and make progressive improvements in your operation every single day to make it more socially responsible and sustainable. If you need a model for cross-cultural change management, in terms of a flowchart or a model, we start on the left side by having cultural and attitudinal awareness. We need to clarify the laws and current practices in our organization and industry. We need to develop policies and procedures that are aligned with current practices and laws, and hopefully some that go beyond that. We need to secure the support of managers. We need to disseminate and share the expectations to all employees. We need to provide education and training to managers and also to everybody else in the organization, but managers should be role models of it. We need to evaluate and enforce policies on a consistent basis, and we need to have continuous improvement as part of our culture to make sure all employees are empowered to make their organizations and their operations sustainable, and so they can always act in a socially responsible manner. All management and professionals require some global intercultural education and skills. These global individuals, these change agents, these workers, and these global leaders must move beyond the mere coping with cultural differences to create more synergistic processes and embrace the wellspring of diversity that exists. If everybody is creative and innovative and concerned about business ethics, about sustainability, about socially responsible behaviors, then you can obviously all act as change agents to make your organizations more sustainable, more efficient, through innovation and creativity together. Synergy should be the driver of all your decisions through everybody's engagement in the department and in the organization. Effective global leadership is the key element of socially responsible international management in today's environment. Global leaders should have the knowledge of different cultures and practices to work effectively in foreign nations and to make sure they work through sustainable means. These global leaders should respect and or follow the values of the country where the business is being conducted and also enforce high safety standards. Basically, global leaders should think globally and act locally. Use good business practices that are sustainable, that are efficient, and that are socially responsible. Remember that the only way to build and enhance the muscles of your professional brand image is to chisel it through high standards and ethical behaviors. This also applies to your corporation. By regularly auditing your sustainability efforts in the organization, you can actually chisel and enhance the brand image of your company as one that is sustainable, that has social responsibility in the back of its mind of all employees and managers, and sustainability and social responsibility are part of the organization's overall operations. Remember to make continuous improvement a part of your sustainability strategy in the organization, because the best outcomes are always likely to be realized by those managers and employees who regularly audit themselves and then plan, do, check, and act as part of a continuous cycle of making progressive improvements. Your stakeholders demand that you be sustainable in everything you do as an organization. In terms of definitions, it's important to differentiate between what experts mean by social responsibility and what experts mean by sustainability. Social responsibility is maximizing positive and minimizing negative impacts of your services and products on the relevant stakeholders. Sustainability, on the other hand, includes the assessment and improvement of business strategies, economic sectors, work practices, technologies, and lifestyles, and the maintaining of the natural environment. We all have a responsibility to be sustainable in all of our operations. Corporate social responsibility report refers to a sustainability agenda that can create long-term favorable stakeholder responses for your organization. Sustainability, social responsibility, and business ethics should not be used interchangeably because, again, they are different concepts. So be very careful in terms of which concept you're referring to when you're writing and when you're speaking to other stakeholders on behalf of your organization. With regards to ethical decisions affecting sustainability as a component of social responsibility, this visual should be able to help you a little bit. We start on the left side here thinking about the ethical issue awareness. What are some of the ethical issues that we as employees, professionals, and managers must be aware of in regards to our organization and industry? And some of those examples of social responsibility concerns that we should be aware of include social issues, well-being of your employees, your responsibilities in terms of regulations and laws in the local environment or in the nation, sustainability of our operations and to what extent we are leaving a negative footprint in everything we do in every city, every area, or every department. We should also be aware of philanthropy, to what extent are we involved in it, and also about consumer protection in corporate governance structures. So those social responsibility concerns in how we decide about going about each of those determines what kind of decisions we make with regards to the quality of the products we offer and the services we offer and the efficiency associated with them with regards to sustainability in the environment. Based on the decisions that we make, obviously, we will be evaluated according to the outcome of those decisions from our stakeholders. So how our stakeholders evaluate us is determined by our awareness of ethical issues as well as by our decisions, which ultimately results in some outcome that is favorable to us or unfavorable to us as an organization. In terms of business response to sustainability issues, I think this model that was published in the Academy of Management Perspective journal helps you understand the various stakeholders in their perception or impact on the company's overall innovation strategy. So on top of the model, you have the firm's innovation strategy with regards to employees, regulators, consumers and purchasers and shareholders, and other external stakeholders like non-governmental agencies and various communities that are involved and impacted by what you do. All of these strategies provide opportunities for increasing your revenues, and they provide opportunities for reducing your cost. With regards to increasing revenues, you can think about better access to certain markets, differentiating your products from others in the industry, selling pollution control technologies to your competitors and those outside of your industry. As far as opportunities for cost reduction, think about risk management in relations with external stakeholders, cost of the material, energy, and services that you're offering, and obviously those that are supplying your organization, and reducing the cost of capital using efficient methods, in the overall productivity of your labor, so reducing your labor cost. All of these are impacted by the other variables. So the more you can reduce costs, the more likely it's going to have an impact on your revenue generation. And the more revenues you generate, the more opportunities you have to reduce costs because of your ability to research and learn as much as possible. So the opportunities for increasing your revenues as well as reducing costs tends to determine your overall environmental performance as well as your economic performance in the environment, thereby impacting all relevant stakeholders' perception and hopefully your overall long-term success. Remember that ethical behavior is a skill, and so is sustainability behaviors. It is a skill for everyone. Everyone in the organization needs to police, evaluate, and improve their sustainability muscles in thinking critically towards how they can be sustainable in every single task and every single department and throughout the organization. Everyone should be empowered to manage and guide effectively in their day-to-day tasks in departmental operations. Good luck.